Hello.
How's it going?
We are live. Okay, wait. It's not a smash bracket. Not a smash bracket if I can't mess with the chat box, because I cannot read that.
Banjo was allowed his Mumbo transformations. They just didn't matter because he can't use them on his own or in non-specific locations. Yeah, I just saw someone was asking the same question over and over, so
Gotcha.
Figured that I would ask. We do have a ton of questions that you guys have asked on Discord and YouTube that Stylish has been really awesome and compiled for me into a very easy to follow document. So that's what I'm going to be going through for the most part. We'll look at chat and try to answer your questions.
Can you guys read this chat box?
No.
Because I cannot hear.
Let me open the actual video instead of just the chat.
Yeah, because my thoughts are...
Yeah, that's unreadable.
Well, it's either that or this with this over it. You know what? We're going to... let's see.
We're going to be starting from the ground up again with Marth vs. Meta Knight, like we are with all of our Season 0 episodes, so I don't really know what the chances are for either fighter.
Yeah, neither do I. Give me just 1 second, and now, there we go.
I will say that we'll probably not just throw out all of Marth's feats because we don't believe that he can be strong.
Or didn't see him. Yeah, that first episode wasn't too great, but we can get into more of that in Q&A later. You want to kind of go over what the plan for this stream is, Lemon?
Yeah, so we have just tried to formalize this a little more. We're going to be trying to get back into doing regular streams and having them be a little more organized than just us reacting to random videos that people ask us to. Mm-hmm. So the plan is we're going to give you kind of a status update on both our channels and how those are going, what work we're doing. In the future, we're going to try and show off some behind-the-scenes stuff and highlight some of our team members, but we didn't prepare that for today because we are unorganized. So,
yeah. We just came back from working on the script for
Pitt versus Samus.
Yeah, and I'm super excited for that one.
Air Caves is writing that one. They're one of our new writers. I don't think one of their scripts has been put out yet, right? All just stuff that's in the works.
I don't think so, yeah.
But they've done a really good job, and we went over it making some minor changes to make it a little stronger in some aspects that we are working on making the series focus on. If you picked up on it in Link versus Ridley, we're trying to make our animations a lot more character-driven and narrative-focused. And
narrative meaning like the story of a fight rather than like the overarching story of Smash Bracket.
Yeah, not like the Smash Bracket lore. I think we're going to try and keep that fairly light in the videos themselves. Just because we don't want it to be this big fan fiction world of light thing we're making. We want it to be the fights between the characters and really show off what a crossover between them would be like.
And hopefully when it all comes together, it'll be a lot more satisfying than World of Light was. I remember when I saw that trailer, I got so freaking hyped. And then they showed literally like everything.
It was such a good trailer though.
It really was.
Or cutscene, I guess.
Yeah.
When are we going to put the ARG into full overdrive? It started. You guys just have missed it.
Yep. There's lots of stuff, I think, every day lately that's kind of been added to it. But yeah, so Smash Bracket lore, we kind of realized a bit of an issue with Joker versus Snake where a lot of it was front-loaded and getting in the way of the episode. So while there will be some hints to lore throughout the episodes, it's going to be less exposition and more like Dark Souls. Like, it's going to be there, but you got to look for it more or less. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, I think so. Or Gravity Falls storytelling is one we're compared to a lot, which has a lot of similarities for sure. I think that...
Beats me.
You watched Gravity Falls and you missed all the cool parts of how they told the story.
everybody hyped up Gravity Falls as like the greatest show ever, and I got my expectations too high. I was going in expecting like a Avatar: The Last Airbender type of experience.
I think Gravity Falls was like a good, solid show, but that what put it over the top was how they handled like dealing out the lore in these cool, puzzly ways that got the community super involved. And that if you're missing out on that part, it probably doesn't have the same special feel to it that it did for a lot of the people who participated in that.
Yeah, probably. All right. So, should we start off with, was it like a channel update for the original plan? Or?
Yeah. So, to give you guys an idea of what we've been working on lately, Ink and I have been hard focusing on, I think we've kind of revamped basically every part of our process recently. Not like totally changing it, but making sure that things are a lot more intentional, that we have better channels for feedback, and making sure that we are working in the right way to produce a product that we love. And then just kind of raising the standards that we have, where we feel like we're at a point where we have the luxury to take a little longer on episodes, and it's annoying when we have delays, but that we can get out much, much better quality products as a result.
Speaking of delays, this is the first time where we're not like delaying an episode, but we just don't have anything to post after Wolf vs. Incineroar. So there's going to be a little bit of a break while we're building that backlog up again. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think we've got maybe like one script in the works before our changed up process. But after that, I think you're going to start seeing kind of what the future of Smash Bracket's going to look like some more.
I think we got a couple for Crossover Coliseum that are going to be finished before that. So it'll be a little while before that channel catches up. We're definitely working hard on both of them to make everything the best we can. We hit a lot of different bottlenecks as a series. It's something that I haven't really heard people talk about, but like there's bottlenecks that Ink and I cause where we're not working fast enough. Like sometimes Ink will decide to hospitalize himself when he's working on a video, and that
Just
puts
for
it
fun.
back for a few days.
Usually when Sephiroth's involved.
And then there's other issues though, like right now we've got a lot of really awesome animators working on the series, and like normal people, they need breaks, and a lot of those breaks happen to coincide with each other. So through kind of no fault of anyone in particular, we've got not enough people to work on some of the stuff that we could produce. But then we also just decided to like revamp how we're doing our scripts, and so we're sending everything back to the drawing board that we had ready. So now those are delayed. There's just so many moving parts that it's hard to find the right balance of like how much time we want to spend polishing something up, or how quickly we want to rush something out to get a consistent posting schedule, or things like that. It's tricky to figure that all out.
Any questions about the general like state of the channel? Not specific videos, but questions about like the direction or anything like that. Best roller coaster I've been on has been the Kirby franchise, to answer that question.
The best roller coaster. That's a pretty good description of it. I've been so many ups and downs with that series.
Weird Guy asks, will we get more puzzles to decode in fictional languages? The last one is so fun.
You've got one right now.
Yep, there's a big one you guys have gotta dig a bit deeper for. So is there going to be a losers bracket? No. Just kidding.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you want to explain how that works?
Yeah, so what we're doing right now is round one of our main tournament. As people are eliminated from that, they're sent to the losers bracket. We haven't quite worked out when we're going to start that, but the idea is that every character who loses in the main bracket is going to be going through the losers bracket and kind of progressing there. The winner of the losers bracket will be matched against the winner of the main bracket to determine the overall final winner.
Yeah, so just like a standard double elimination tournament.
Also, Silas, we do know there are questions on Notion, but as we're kind of just giving a general channel update, I think it's nice to see where people are live in response to what we're sharing.
Oh, here's a question I'm excited about from Charles Nguyen, or Nguyen, I can't say that well.
Win.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Win?
Yeah.
My mind is blown. What about my main channel? Not this one. I actually have a video in the works. It's all recorded, just needs to be edited, which, I mean, story of my life, but I think this one's really going to happen. And it's kind of different than other things I've done. My main channel, for the people here who followed that, excuse me, I've had a lot of fun with it, and right now I just want to stay that. It's something I can post on regularly and have fun with, but not need to worry about optimization or making sure every single video idea I have is the best or gonna explode the channel. So I have one in the works right now about the legacy of salty sweets in Super Smash Bros. And especially the Leffen diss track, which is one of my favorite pieces of media.
Those things are so terrible.
Yeah. Also, Joshua Gomez, big shout out to him in the chat for the battle to get Isaac into Smash Bracket.
That was the most scared I've ever been.
Yeah. Upcoming Coliseum battles.
The next one up is Wario versus King Knight.
But after that, our prioritization is going to be Kickstarter backers, and then Patreon members, and then team matches, and then matches that Ink wants.
Some of those are a little shuffled around just because of, like, some characters being exceptionally easy to research. Like, I think we did all of Pepsi Man's research in, like, 30 minutes because he just has commercials. That's not true, though. We ended up finding more than expected for him. But it was very, very quick, and that was an episode chosen for one of our researchers. And so that has beat some of those other things, but generally the priority that Ink listed is correct.
Yeah. Have we actually been on a roller coaster? Asked by Coasters for Life. That's on brand.
So I think I technically haven't. The only ones I've been on are like at Disney, which I think don't meet the actual qualifications for a roller coaster.
Frankly, I hardly know her coaster.
I remember looking into that when I was younger and finding out that there's like some strict definitions for what defines a real roller coaster, and that the ones I'd been on didn't match that. But by default, it would have to be the, what's it called now? The Incredicoaster at California Adventure, because that's like one of very few I've been on.
Yeah. Let's see. Are we going to upload the fight animation for Archie Sonic versus Paper Mario? Yes.
Yeah, so one thing that we've been doing recently is actually posting this backlog content that we've been sitting on for months.
Every day, which I'll have you guys know is just not good for our channel.
It's very bad for analytics.
That's the thing people don't get about YouTube is there was a time where posting every day, like quality stuff was really good, but you'll start to overwhelm your notification tab, and then also the balance of your channel from like main series videos to non-main series videos is really important. So I think for the first time in the channel history, we're probably losing subs for the next few days. I have not looked because I don't want to drive myself crazy and talk myself out of getting that backlog posted.
But we love you guys enough that we're doing it anyway because we do owe that content.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I think it'll be good to have it out, and we're being really intentional about making sure we don't get into a slump like that again. But you'll see it all over the next few weeks because we've got a lot.
So other general channel direction questions before we move on. Let's see. Appreciation for Coaster, I hardly know her. Let's see.
We've got a couple questions about the Minecraft alternate ending. That one has some unique problems. Also, thank you. I can't read your name because it's very blue on blue. But thank you for subscribing. But yeah, so there's some issues with the Minecraft Battle Royale. I don't know if we're going to be able to have an alternate ending because of that. It's just in a weird spot.
I'm talking with someone about that right now.
Oh, yeah?
It seems like it's going to pan out, but
nice.
I don't want to commit.
We really want to have it, and we want to get it out for you. There's just issues in the way, so we'll try our best.
Plans for the channel after somebody wins. That's a question I see a lot. Like, we haven't talked about it. If I chose by myself, just leaving the channel, like, ending it and having it be a finished self-contained project and then just move on to something else, whether that's another YouTube series or another versus tournament, like, that sounds so relaxing. Like Thanos after he gets all of the Infinity Stones and snaps, and then he just goes to his old ranch. And
that sounds relaxing as long as we can have some other big channels to tide us over.
Yeah. I think maybe we can get PewDiePie's.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
I
think we're probably at a state where, unless there's anything else you want to bring up about the state of the channel yourself, we should probably move on to all these questions we've got.
Yep. Oh wait, do we want to do the team member shout out? Thank you for the sub, by the way.
You said no, because we didn't have anything ready.
Oh, I thought that was for the work in progress.
They're the same thing.
They are?
Yeah.
Oh!
The whole point was that we were going to... The idea is that we don't get a chance to shout out our team members or show some of the smaller behind-the-scenes details. And so I wanted a way to go over, like...
I can do one right now, but go ahead.
We wanted a way to go over the contributions that our team members are giving, because they're all awesome, and we just don't show enough appreciation. So we could kill two birds with one stone.
Here's an appreciation for someone on our team named Some Guy. My daughter has been obsessed lately with Pikachu. She hates watching Pokemon. She won't give us that. But what she does want to do is, yesterday she was going Pikachu Bridge, and it took me forever to figure out what she was talking about. There's this YouTube video, London Bridge is following down, nursery rhymes kids song, Pokemon Kids TV, and it's official. So I was watching this with her yesterday, and so in the middle of this, Charizard lands on a bridge, and just the force of him landing collapses the bridge. So I posted it as a joke to our research channel. All right, here he goes. 1 second. Yeah, I posted that as a joke to the research channel, and some guy had already found it and documented it, and he'd already looked through all of the Pokemon Kids episodes. So
and they are canon.
And they are?
Yeah. I think they're secondary.
I guess they don't do anything.
They're official.
Out of normal. I guess they dance.
I think that's common for Pokemon. There's like 80 dancing moves. But yeah, anyway. Some Guy is amazing. Whenever you see research, it was probably Some Guy's. He does so freaking much for the team now. Specifically, like when I have those visuals on screen where I just scan through all of the characters' abilities in a Notion document. It's just copy and pasted from Some Guy. Yeah. And we will do research, and then we go and look at what Some Guy has done, and he's got everything like color-coded and written out and contextualized with what's happening around it in the story or how things can be used. And my research is like, Fox shot a guy and he died. And it's it makes me feel inadequate. Yeah. But he's carrying the series on his back, and we love it. Yeah. Love him. Some Guy's awesome. Yeah. Shout him out. Some Guy! Not... Oh, sorry. Sorry, earphone users. That was so mean. I don't think through. I don't think I can end it there. Anyway. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get through some of these questions. We're going to go through some that we've gathered in the public Discord server. We also had a YouTube post that we're going through. Yeah. They're both cataloged. Could someone post a link to that Discord server if we need it? Or in case people need it. And then after that, we can field some questions from the chat. Probably won't be a super long stream. Yeah. We have a ton of questions. This might be a super long stream. I think we should try to just go through these really quickly. Stylish has marked ones that he feels like are very important to give a thorough answer to, which I very much appreciate. Okay. So we'll spend longer on those or on anything else that we're very interested in. I'll ask you the first one. What do you think about the claim that Ness is universal? So the claim that Ness is universal from the game is like... absolute dog poopy. It's just the worst.
Out of every way you could have said that.
It felt like it matched the tone of the series.
Talking about Truth of the Universe?
I think that's like the way he gets universal scaling.
Yeah. I mean, there's also Magic can't absorb.
They're basically the same argument. But yeah, there's differences. They're both crap. Going through the novel, I buy it way more. That gives him some really freaking weird feats. That adds a lot of context that the games and the interviews and things don't have. I don't think I buy it, but I feel like there's actually an argument there. I think the climax of the book, Ness, I think, grabs the multiverse and hits it like a baseball into Gygax.
Gygax? He's crossing franchises.
Gygax. Wait. Nope. Gygax.
Thank you, True Blue, for the donation.
But yeah, I don't know, because it's very metaphorical and unclear, and then they never, like, talk about what happened in any detail, and they're all like, oh, things are different now, that's cool.
But here's what sucks. I don't take too much time on this. About the arguments like that, is they don't hold up super well, or at least the ones that I've seen. They don't hold up super well, or at least the ones I've seen, but having those be the focus of Ness in versus debates, you miss all of the cool stuff that he can do. Like, Ness has all these weird or quirky items or binary abilities or things like that that just are a lot more interesting to talk about than Truth of the Universe or Magic Can't. Yes. Anyway.
All right. Was Joker's quasar attack comparable to the power of an actual quasar? If so, what evidence was used to support it?
How can we answer this quickly?
We can't. The summary is that yes-ish it was, and also that the evidence wasn't anything like measurable in the way that we typically handle feats. It's more like the entire construction of the franchise and everything spinning off of it and everything surrounding it created the framework for that.
Where I kind of talk about it in the video, everything in Persona comes from the collective unconscious, which is like all of humanity's concepts floating around. The way they do magic is they take those concepts and then actualize them. And so they're taking basically like what we would consider a quasar, how we would measure that, that's what they would be using.
It's confusing. There's like, I mean, I'm condensing like a 40-page summary that I read that helped it, and then like, I don't know, 200 hours of gameplay that I went through for just the Persona 5 games, and all of that comes down, and it paints a very clear picture that's hard to describe concisely. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not very satisfied with how we've explained it, because we're at this point where we're just kind of like, I don't know, just trust us. So hopefully in the future we can improve our understanding to a point where that makes sense. But for now, it's too complicated for me to condense. And I understand it a little bit, but not well enough to share that knowledge quickly.
So let's move on to the next question. And should I show this while you answer it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So the next question, do you think you could organize your intensity system into tiers akin to how Versus Battle Wiki does for Jewels, Tons of TNT, to make it easier to say how strong characters are shorthand? The answer to this is yes. I am currently putting together a video for that exact purpose, where we're going to be using a system of power cards that we developed to show off the strengths of the characters. Ink's pulling up the image now to show you what they look like.
So first off, nothing on here is final. We just used Fox because we were working on him at the time that we first started workshopping this ability, or this template, but none of these tiers are actually updated or meaningful for anything. But in theory, we're going to have something like this for each character, and you'll be able to kind of use these numbers down here in the right to get an idea of generally how strong a character is. Right now, none of this is meaningful. Like, his immunity is salt, and it's spelled wrong.
That is spelled correctly.
Immunity has 2 M's.
I thought you meant salt was spelled wrong.
But yeah, so this should give you an idea of how characters stack up to each other. What we can't do is do things like this character is building level or this character is universal, things like that, for reasons that I'll pass off to Lemon because I always get them wrong.
Someone said that we rigged the whole thing for Star Fox characters. I want to point out that when we started this, I thought like they were basically human level. I didn't think they were impressive whatsoever.
Yeah.
The series has blown me away. Mostly because I don't think anyone has looked at it. I was looking through the Starlink wiki the other day, and like, I think that's their most recent and arguably one of their most popular games. And it's just so poorly documented.
For which game?
Starlink.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just everything is very bad.
Yeah.
For binary and bounded abilities, like I said, I'm putting together a video explaining this card system where I will talk about that more. But the basic idea is that the word hacks is misleading in our opinion. It gives a really different feeling of abilities than what they tend to be. And I don't find it very useful to lump them all into one category. So, bounded and binary abilities are a way to separate what a character can do that isn't directly tied to stats in a way that lets us compare it between characters better.
Yeah.
Let's see. Why did Link get the speed feat from Triforce Hero where he keeps pace with an arrow? Alright, that's just a specific question about one speed feat for Link. The answer is that's what we showed. That's probably a result of miscommunication from the research team to Ink. That was a speed feat we had for him, but it was more supplementing other things he had around that level. I think there's a decent argument for it because, like, one thing that drives a lot of people crazy is that we look at, like, the effects of gravity in a game and use that to establish a time frame when things aren't clear. And usually that's used to say a character can't be moving as fast as you think because look, gravity. But there are times where we can use the gravity in reverse and say that look how little this projectile or object drops during a time frame. This is how slow it had to be falling or how fast the character had to be moving for that to happen. And that's basically what we did there. It's not a very visually clear feat, and again, that's just a kind of an error of communication on our part.
Yeah, it's a feat where you can interpret it a few different ways. I was trying to phrase it in a way that substantiated the speed while fighting Thunderblight Ganon and slowing it down with his Flurry Rush, but it didn't totally stick the landing, because turns out writing character essays is hard, especially when you try to balance it with YouTube retention and general good YouTube stuff.
You have a good system for submitting feats, at least on our side of things, but is there a way for us to submit how we think a certain character would fight in an average battle? Nothing specific, like Mario would do X to defeat Y, but rather outlining the general first approach of a character. Yeah, just put that in the same area. Like, submit it like a feat. It'll be looked at the same. I feel like those are actually way more useful than feats, because everyone submits the feats that we have already looked at extensively. So the kind of character analysis you're talking about is much more helpful because that takes a lot more effort on our part to establish, and it's good to get outside perspectives as well to make sure we're not misreading a character or something.
Let's see. Let's go a bit more rapid fire through the next few of these, then we'll get some more questions from chat.
Okay. Do you think base game side content in-game should be separated into lower tiers on the canon scale if it seems contradictory to other parts of the game? I think they should be evaluated separately. I think he means, like, so you have the Kirby main game and then the Kirby mini games, and they're very, like, separated from each other. In general, I think you need to look at those independently and evaluate them in the context of both that game and the franchise as a whole.
Yeah. Not necessarily meaning you separate them as different versions of the character, but you don't weigh them necessarily the same, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't give one an automatic pass because of the other, but I also wouldn't automatically demote one.
Yeah.
Would the new strong and agile style be a factor in future Pokemon fights?
We'll consider it. Yep.
I think it gives a name to something we've considered before, and just makes it more clear.
Without spoiling anything, what character do you think has had their stats changed the most since their
Falco.
episode? Falco. Yeah, Falco was so lowballed.
For the team battles that you have planned, if one character on a team is obviously going to lose a fight against either character on the other team, but the partner can easily win a fight against the opponent. Okay, basically what you're getting at, we might have a team battle for the animation, but all of the results are considered separately.
So like we're doing Chrom and Roy versus Peach and Daisy, but that's really Chrom and Peach versus Roy, or Chrom versus Peach and Roy versus Daisy. How are we going to balance it where we have two separate matches in one video is a question that would be good to ask. And we don't know. No one's done this, I don't think. So we're going to figure it out, and it'll be fun.
My idea is that we'll use those results to kind of give us guidelines we have to follow for the episode, and kind of use those as constraints to try and make things interesting by working around those. How did we calculate Link's durability? The same as everyone else. I think his best feat was surviving his own bombs when they blew up gigantic things right next to him. Could Pikachu get moves from Let's Go? Yes. What happens if a character gets a game with a big upgrade after they lose a fight? Then they do better in loser's bracket.
Yep. Crossover Coliseum, we would probably just, like, nothing would happen because they're one-offs.
How will Pura and Mithra be handled? We don't know. We haven't looked into the games enough yet. I know from talking to people who have played the games and the research members who are familiar with it, that it sounds like they'll probably have Rex there to justify them being able to use their full strength, but not get access to other blades. Yeah. But we haven't decided for sure.
Oh, I can answer this one. How did you calculate Joker's speed and his all-out attack? So the all-out attack is interesting because usually the screen just turns red, and it kind of looks like time is stopped if you compare what happened before and after the animation, but it was always ambiguous, so we couldn't really use it. We had it at, I think, 45 miles per hour initially, but if you look at Persona 5 Strikers, which is the Warriors game for it, which, by the way, don't just discount that as like a Warriors spin-off, because like the storytelling is incredible, it feels like a genuine sequel, and they handle it that way, and the writing is great, and the music is great. Oh, I love that game. But when you use an all-out attack in that game against a non-boss enemy, you can see it really does just freeze time and the screen doesn't turn red. And so we're able to use that to get distance over time, treating it as, just do 0 for time, or... I feel like that would break the equation.
No, we didn't do 0. I don't remember exactly what we did, but we figured out some small time frame that worked.
That pronunciation of Pura. Ugh. They don't like how we say Pura. Anyway.
What is a Pura?
Pura and Mithra?
Oh, yeah.
Let's get through these here.
Would you do a ranking on how strong each Smash bracket crossover Coliseum is based on your research at some point? I'm open to it.
I'd love to do like how Relax did a video. I think that would be really fun to do something similar after we've got to a good place in the project.
Is Piranha Plant being treated as composite? Yes.
Awesome.
I'm going to go get a drink.
Okay.
While you...
I will field some questions from chat. It's just me and you guys now. All right. Let's see. So, David Pacifico, I've seen your question come in several times. How would damage inversion work, turning damage into healing? I think that would just be a binary ability, that it's just something a character can do. It would probably be handled case by case. But if I answer this, there's a good chance that Lemon will see this later and be like, actually, that's not how we would do that. So I'll let him take that. Where can I contact you for feats or statements other than Discord? Do you have Instagram or Facebook? I do, and I never use them. Discord, that channel is best. If not that, the subreddit. And then if not that, Twitter DMs. Although we're so bad at replying to those. What are your opinions on other versus shows outside of Death Battle? Like Battle Royale from Crossover X, Rewind Rumble, Multiverse Match. I love those channels. Like the versus community, especially like indie versus, has so much passion behind it. The Galaxy and Multiverse Match team are like, they're all so incredibly nice, and I just love those people so much. And just everyone on like their team Discord server too is really nice. Biffweed and Nem are there, and they're both super nice. Just in general, the versus community has been this weird mix of being so accepting and loving and just happy to have us here and following passion until I go into the comment section sometimes, and then I get sad. But yeah. What are your thoughts on gag type feats? In my opinion, I think it should be used. Call it inconsistent, but that's what Toon Force is. I don't have an issue with gag feats as long as they can pull it off consistently and in a variety of situations. In that case, I probably wouldn't treat it like genuine strength in an animation. I'd want to show that strength being used in a gag fashion to stay true to the source material. But yeah. How are you going to use the Fire Emblem characters that have different genders? We're actually going to split the models in half, so half male, half female, and then kind of staple them together. Let's see. If you're using Sonic X for Sonic vs. Fox 2, does that mean Dark Sonic could be used? I am not sure because I haven't seen Sonic X since I was a kid. Lemon's done the Sonic research. But yeah. How often do you die to Smash, or in Smash to a 10 to 12-year-old Kirby? What Smash are you talking about? All right. I'd really like to know when Bowser vs. DK is coming. I'm not sure. We have some very, very early preliminary stuff in the works for it. Will Meta Knight versus Marth have a similar animation to Link versus Ridley? If you mean 3D, probably not. We'll probably do sprites.
We'll make it better, though.
Why did you archive your old streams? Those are unlisted because YouTube doesn't like it if you have things on your channel page that aren't your main content. So unless they do something that fixes the streaming system, the best way to do it is stream on your main channel, unlist, download the stream, upload it to a live channel, and we just don't have the bandwidth for that right now.
I'll move them over to the crew channel, though. I thought they were all there.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I thought they were, and then someone told me they weren't. Probably the person who asked that question.
What are your thoughts on reaction videos? I love reaction videos, even if it's someone just watching our videos, not reacting much. Like, there's some person who literally, like, I think he's on his phone for half of our episodes, which, like, I mean, part of that sucks. But it's just so nice to see that engagement, and it's an honor whenever someone wants to do a reaction video.
I hate them in general, but I like them for our content.
Let's see. All right, so let's go through the next round of questions. Oh, Cal, your Ridley voice was incredible, and I can't picture any other voice coming out of Ridley.
No one seems to believe that was just your take.
Yeah.
Everyone tells us we went too heavy on the filters, and it's just
like
what he gave us.
Any kind of filtering was very minimal, being totally honest. All right.
It's incredible. Before we get to the questions, I have something very important to say, which is that Ink has been holding out on me. I went upstairs to get water, and there was a Doritos Nutella cake.
Yeah, my wife made that last night.
I've never heard of that.
She just made it up.
Look at that. He didn't even tell me. I've been sitting here underneath a Doritos Nutella cake for like an hour.
Her comfort food that I think is just the weirdest combo has been Doritos and Nutella. And then she kind of disappeared for a couple hours yesterday. And I went downstairs and there is Dorito and Nutella cake with Dorito and Nutella cake with like a Nutella ganache, and the cake itself was Nutella, and there was a Dorito infused buttercream.
It's such a weird sounding combo, but the cake looks so good. I have to try it.
Yeah, it's a crunchy cake.
See, that seems weird, but appropriate?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's great. How long did the animator for Lucina versus Rob to take? I don't think it was a day, even.
No, right? I don't think so.
We contacted him, and he gave it to us in like an hour. That was Andix. He's quick. All right, we got a couple of lore questions. Who is O? We're not telling.
Well, we can say, like, why are people talking about the name O?
Sure.
So it comes in the alphabet. No, just kidding. So if you've been looking at our, digging deeper at our content, you'll have noticed a few patterns starting to emerge with lore, things like that. And one of those is the name O. And so people are kind of theorizing about who that could be. Seems like someone who's sending messages to people, things like that. O'Reilly's Auto Parts.
With Eno playing a major part in Ken vs. Terry, and from what I can tell, possibly being referenced in Joker vs. Snake, will we get cameos from any other non-Smash heroes or villains in bracket? It's not a 0% possibility.
Yes. Yes to what you said.
I think we... Yeah, you'll see. You'll see.
Yeah.
Are Young Link, Dr. Mario, and Toon Link excluded from the tournament as a whole? They are composited into their true forms.
Yep.
So Mario encompasses Dr. Mario, and all of the links are fused into one monstrosity. All right. Are you guys aware of the fact that you've topped many Versus shows in quality so quickly?
Oh, did you write this one?
I didn't. I can show it on Discord if you don't believe me. Actually, that might have been just deleted because we're cleaning up the channel. But I remember reading it there, and it was very sweet.
That's a really nice sentiment. Like, a couple of people said that, feeling like we've topped a lot of other Versus shows in quality. And to be honest, like, while it's a really nice compliment, I almost feel like comparing quality between different shows misses the point. Like of course, different shows are going to have different levels of quality, but also, like, I wouldn't compare someone with way less resources than we do to us more than I would compare what we do to Death Battle, more than I would compare what Death Battle does to what Pixar does. Things are just, like, everyone's in a different place, and it's just really cool to see different people put together their own ideas of how different characters fight, even if that's one episode or 100.
And I think that there are things that we do better than other series, and a lot of things that other series do better than us. And just that we have different focuses than a lot of other channels that resonate with people. Mm-hmm. And so it feels like we produce better content, but, like, if you're not looking for that, if you're looking for something else, then we're not even close to the best option.
Yeah.
So I really do appreciate the sentiment. It's very, puts a smile on my face. And I know that we always do strive to make the best stuff we can and to top everything else that we see in quality, just because it's inspiring to see what people do. But I don't think we'll ever get there.
JC Kid wants to know if we've ever faced any critiques.
No,
we actually haven't, now that you mention it.
Yeah, I think, like, I was expecting some critiques at some point, but everyone just always agrees with everything we do and say.
Which is nice. It's just unexpected.
Yeah. We get tons of critiques for everything, though, really.
And here's the thing. When you're making a Versus series, you'll learn that some of the things people hate most about an episode are some of the exact things that people love most about an episode. Like Isabel versus Ganondorf, I love that episode, but a specific aspect of it, some people hate that there aren't any attacks exchanged in that episode, but, like, that's one of my favorite parts of it.
I agree. A lot of people also tell us it's a joke episode, which was never on our mind.
Yeah.
We didn't finish this question, though. He also asked, what's a matchup that we want to do the most for Smash Bracket and Crossover Coliseum? One for each.
Joker versus Bayonetta at some point because of the music. Although I don't want to choose all of Joker's matches based on music.
He'll have good music no matter who he's with.
Yeah. And Crossover Coliseum, I'm super excited for Vin from Mistborn versus Shang-Chi. But as for something we're not currently doing, I would love to do Gru versus Megamind or Mechagodzilla versus Raiden.
Those would be fun. For me, I think I want to choose someone that isn't Joker because I don't want people to know I'm biased. I love his games so much.
I don't know if Jackson is saying worst episode to Mechagodzilla.
Probably Isabel versus Ganondorf.
That makes
for me,
sad.
It's Joker versus Sephiroth, I think. I think that's my most wanted one. Or maybe Sephiroth versus Kirby. That's another fun one.
Real fast, I've seen this question come in several times. Hi from Brazil. I really like your work. Do you intend to make Smash Bracket version for other countries? I assume you mean like making our content in Portuguese. I would love to do that one day, and we just don't have the resources right now. But that sounds so cool.
One thing we have been trying to do and been bad at doing is making like a voice actor free version of our episodes and putting the scripts up for people to dub.
Yeah.
We'll try to get better at that. So we want to make it easy. If anyone's interested in dubbing the series into other languages, go ahead and message me on Discord or something, and I'll make sure that you have what you need. Because we want to make that an option, just don't have the resources to do it ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You interrupted my crossover Coliseum answer, though.
Oops.
So for that, I actually think I really like the idea of Miraculous Ladybug against someone. Just because she's really fun.
I want to do Ladybug against Spider-Man. I think they would bounce off of each other really fun.
I do too. I think that would be a good one. I think she's got a lot of matches, and my daughter likes the show, which is a plus. I want to do an episode on something she watches, because then I can be popular to my daughter.
Anyway.
How long is Bracket expected to take? A while.
I'd guess 10 years. If we're quick.
Definitely a few years at least.
Each round should take half the time of the previous round, and maybe less than that because we'll have less research to do. But yeah, who knows?
What's the deciding factor for an animation being hand-drawn, 2D, or 3D? The availability of animators, really.
Availability of animators and availability of assets. You can go fill that up if you need more.
I'm good.
Like Isabel versus Ganondorf, that one was done hand-drawn because we didn't have good sprites for Isabel at the time, and I didn't know any sprite artists, so we went with it. Hey, Farindelli, good to see you. Farindill, I said Farindelli. Farin, I'll just say Farin.
What is the team's favorite episode? I think it's probably Link versus Ridley.
Everyone has a different episode as their favorite, I think. My personal favorite is Link versus Ridley, the rematch.
Mine as well. I think as a whole, that's probably where the team would land on. Like, the most people would say that's their favorite. Mm-hmm. But there's definitely a lot of different episodes that are people's favorites.
I just love that episode. And I feel like we wrote it in a way that another show wouldn't. Not saying we wrote it in a better way, just it feels very true to us. Mm-hmm. If we're going off French stuff, Wakfu is... Wakfu, I've tried that several times, and I want to get into it. I just haven't had the time. I had a French tutoring class today for the first time in months, and I'll tell you, it was... it's rough. Anyway.
What's your favorite track that's been produced for both series so far?
Ooh, House of Cards for me. House of Cards for Smash Bracket and Wario vs. King Knight for Crossover Coliseum. That one might beat out House of Cards for me.
It beats it out for me.
I don't know, actually. I love House of Cards.
That's my favorite, just in general. It's so good. I'm very excited to get that out for everyone. Was Enderman using the Elytra in the animation in error? No, it wasn't. It was just based on the books. Because Enderman can do a lot of weird crap.
So that's a L on my part, is I didn't do a good job at showing the sources we had. So it kind of sounds like me saying, well, my sources, we made it up. But that's not true. And in future matches, I will make sure to show highlights of the book.
What will me look like? Also, can it be Matt? Can it be Matt? Can it be Matt? We don't know.
I want it to be Matt.
I guess it might be Matt. I have no opinions. What was the easiest result to decide, and what was the hardest to decide?
Easiest out of the ones that we've done so far.
Probably the ones that we released.
Isabel versus Ganondorf.
Oh, yeah, that was it. No.
Rob versus Lucina. Rob. Yeah.
I always forget.
Hardest one. I remember the original Sonic versus Fox having like an 8-hour phone call where I was just laying on the floor in here, just like face down, like, yeah, they might do that, but what about this? And I got a message from Levi. He's like, you sound like you're dying. Are you okay? And like, it's been 8 hours. I just want to edit.
Was it really that long?
It was so long.
That was such a mess. I think we were like learning things during that call about what they could do.
Like, there's some misinformation out there that we are redoing it because we missed a lot of stuff on Sonic. And while we've expanded our rules for canon so Sonic's getting more things, it was really more just we did the bad versus debater thing where you say, I mean, this character stomps before you even look into either side. The same thing we did for Meta Knight versus Marth. And then that led to a lot of bad assumptions on what Fox was and wasn't capable of. It led us to be kind of closed-minded up until like the last week of production. And then we finally started actually looking at what Fox could do, and it complicated it, and that kind of came through in the end product. That animation was originally supposed to end after Fox was put in jail. Answering a quick question, we do have our own Versus Battle Wiki. I mean, it's not called Versus Battle Wiki. It's a fan wiki. It's under construction. But if you want to help build it from the ground up, go for it.
I think it's been pretty dead for a while, so having more people interested in that would help.
Yeah.
I think, though, so the first Sonic versus Fox, I think might be cheating, because that was less a debate issue and more of a research issue. I think the hardest call we had to make where we were like... I was going to say the Koopaling Battle Royale, because we still haven't called that one.
Yeah, that was
It's been, like, off and on debated for, like, 2 months.
Yeah. As far as ones where you just sat down to debate back and forth, though, like live on a call and came to a conclusion, if we're not doing Sonic versus Fox, it might have been Lucas versus Wario.
Yeah, I could believe that.
I still go back and forth on that in my head.
It's really close. I think Pac-Man versus Pikachu was surprisingly difficult, too.
Yeah.
I actually think I might go in favor of Pac-Man now.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know, though.
So.
I don't know.
If you saw Pikachu's dance moves on the Pokemon channel, oh, man. I'll tell you.
Pac-Man can talk to trees and make them walk.
Hold up, wait. Pikachu can jump in and out of TVs if you take his video game appearances literally. We'll finally have someone to cross over to the real world and have a fight with Rob and whoever's controlling them. We just got to get Pikachu to the losers bracket.
Perfect.
Anyway.
What's the hardest part about picking a winner for an episode of Smash Bracket? Considering how their personality affects what they would do, I think.
Yeah.
That's hard because it's really prone to bias and interpretation, and so we spend a lot of time on it, a lot of time iterating and considering different interpretations of the character to make sure that we're not overlooking anything.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is a question I like. Do you ever research real-life fighting styles for inspiration when choreographing scenes? Just today, actually. So actually, one of my hobbies, something I haven't been able to do in a while because of health issues and just scheduling, but I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai, and I really like both of those, and I do a bit of boxing. But we were scripting today, and I just had a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu move that came to mind that I thought would be really cool, and we are considering it. So yeah.
Is there any Smash Bracket fight that you are want to hold back because you feel like they're going to get something announced that could give feats to them? Nothing right now. We did do that for the Metroid characters, though.
Yeah, waited till Dread.
So we're willing to do that, but probably if we're only waiting a couple of months.
So here's a quiz. What will come first? The end of Smash Bracket as a whole, or Metroid Prime 4?
I don't think Metroid Prime 4 is going to happen.
Anyway.
Let's see.
Oh, the CQC is awful in Metal Gear Solid. Anyway.
What do we think of having a co-host for Smash Bracket and Crossover Coliseum? Are we open to the idea of doing something like that?
I'll tell you something I hate in YouTube. It's when people do a collaboration and they're like, well, here's my video and now I'm talking. Oh, YouTuber, I didn't see you there. Yeah, just thought I'd swing in and see what you're doing in this video. Well, while you're here, you want to tell us about the speed of Isabelle the dog? Oh, I thought you'd never ask. I have this all prepared. I get why people do it, and I can't stand it. So if we do have a co-host, I would want it to be more like how we did Ken versus Terry, where I do one part, the other person does the other part, or like how we've done things with Lemon in the past, where I turn it over to him. But it just it doesn't interest me as much. What are your thoughts?
I'm open to it. I'm not sold on it one way or the other, but I don't want to be closed off to anything in particular before we give it a good shot. I think we've tried it a little bit in the past and just done badly with it. and that if we wanted to co-host, we would have to really play around with the format and make sure that the style matched our own.
Crap. Someone erased Rob's comment. He's exposing me.
What'd he say?
He's calling me out because I did that exact same thing. No. A man changes, okay?
It opened his eyes.
Real fast, Carlo has been asking this question for a while. Oh, someone deleted it.
I think they deleted it because he'd been asking for a while.
Well.
What happened to Homelander versus Spider-Man?
Oh, the person
changed.
who... Yeah, I don't want to do the boys. It made me feel gross, so I asked the person who chose it to change it.
How is the Mewtwo versus Sephiroth hand-drawn thing coming along? I wish we knew.
Next question.
We're gonna work on posting the alternate ending and the fight only without that. If it comes in the future, we will post an extended version. But
I want to update the sound design of the episode in general, though, before we post it.
Yeah, it still needs a little work. But yeah, we'll try and get it out.
Right.
And hopefully we'll get that someday.
Not to get off this too much, but since we went live, I've seen non-stop questions about Sonic versus Fox 2. Should we talk about that real fast?
Sure.
We're not doing it anymore. Just kidding. We are working on it. I don't think we're waiting on Frontiers. When does it come out?
That's what I'm checking.
Let's see if chat will beat you.
Just 2022. November to December 2022.
Nope, he will get that for the next round.
Yeah. I will go on record saying he's not going to get anything meaningful from that game. Go ahead and prove me wrong when that happens. I'm sure he'll end up getting very solid feats that finally convince me he's...
Just for the future. That aged great.
But yeah, that's... It was supposed to come out in January. It did not come out in January. We've had this song ready to go that we worked with some really great artists on to get them to record, and we're kind of working the fight around that, and we just need to get it out because these people have been waiting on us.
Yeah.
And told their audience it was coming out in January.
Yeah.
So we're getting that done. What's the hardest part about making an episode?
I think a hard part that I don't typically talk about or think about is cohesion between the research, the writing, the animation, and the editing. And I think this is something that even happens with the Death Battle sometimes, where you look at Ben 10 versus Green Lantern, where I can't even tell you how many people I've heard say, well, actually, they made a really good argument that Green Lantern takes it, they just didn't present their argument well. And if that's true, that's a case of the research not having great synergy with the writing and the editing and the whole thing coming together. And the animation from what I've heard. So making sure you get all of those polished and then balancing communication between all of those is a lot more difficult than you would think.
Yeah, it's that's also what I would say. Hard to get that right. It's something we're aware of and working to get better on, but it's the biggest struggle for sure.
So Rob says Sonic will have fast travel speeds because he's a speedster running in an open world game. He's going to go like 75 miles an hour is my guess.
I could expect around Mach 2.
That's where he's most comfortable.
Yeah. That's what I'm expecting his best speed feat to be. So we'll see where it ends up. Have we thought of... Yeah, we answered that question. Is there going to be an alt ending for Snake versus Joker?
Yes, just need to do the sound design on that.
Will there be a loser's bracket? Yes, we
just
talked
need
about
to do
that.
the sound design.
Is Falco Falcon now episode 1?
Yep, just got to update those numbers.
Why do we have numbers? What's the point of numbers?
Oh, wait, do we have numbers? I thought I got rid of them a while ago, actually.
I thought you did too. Would you ever consider doing a side Smash bracket which focuses on things like assist trophies, bosses, and Pokeballs?
I thought we'd consider that when we were doing our first Kickstarter. We do not have the room.
Thank you for not fulfilling that Kickstarter.
Yeah.
When the tournament is over, would you consider doing a Smash Bros. Copies like PlayStation All-Stars?
I'd consider it. I just, I don't know where our lives are going to be in 10 years. Which, if we're fast, is probably when it's going to end.
We are juggling so many things for this channel that I just don't have the capacity to plan things that far in the future anymore. Yep. But it does sound fun. So, do you want to take a break and go over questions from chat for a little bit?
Sure. What's been my favorite episode to work on? I had so much fun editing Joker versus Snake. Like, there are some issues with how we choreographed that fight that were definitely our fault rather than the animators in a lot of ways. But for the actual analysis, like, I just, like, I spent multiple nights just at home taking notes on Metal Gear lore and Persona lore, handwritten notes. I think I have them here. But just trying to understand it because I knew they were complicated, and I knew if I didn't have a super solid understanding of it, it would be complicated and confusing when I explained it. So I had a ton of fun doing that and diving into the themes of it. I had a lot of fun doing the editing of the episode, trying to stylize it. So that might have been my favorite to work on.
My favorite was the Minecraft Battle Royale. Because I feel like there's just so many cool things that we found for the Minecraft characters that we didn't know before. Mm-hmm. It's cool. We decided to not tell anyone how we're doing Red until the episode comes out. We're pretty set in how we're doing it and think it's a great idea. And also we realized that everyone is so attached to the nostalgia of Pokemon that they will think anything we do is wrong. So we're
even on our team, like, I think that was probably the hardest.
That was the most contentious I'd ever seen our team. Like, out of
more so
anything.
than any, like, Victor, it's how do we handle Red?
Like, legitimately, I've seen people on our team more vehemently disagree with, like, decisions on Pokemon Trainer than if we were to just call a match in favor of one character for no reason other than, like, we wanted one character to win, and
which we don't do, but
except as a joke. I've told them that a few times, but yeah, it was rough. So we realized that we are going to get criticism no matter what. So we're going to save that criticism for when the episode comes out.
To answer another question I just saw come through, are there going to be same series matches? Bowser versus DK is kind of same series.
There will probably be at some point.
We had more before we rearranged things. Let's see. Who do you want in Smash Bros? I want Shadow the Hedgehog, but not as an Echo Fighter. He could be an Echo Fighter at Bayonetta.
I feel like that would be better than an Echo of Sonic.
I would love Impa. She's been one of my most wanted for a while.
I want Gino after playing the whatever mod that was that had him in.
Oh, Project Plus, I think.
I don't know. That was I did like one combo as Gino, and it all flowed so naturally, and it was the best thing I've ever done in Smash, and now he's my favorite.
I love Project M and the variants on it. How are your days?
Long and short.
Long and short. That's a good way of describing it. There's just so much to do. Like, I think one of the hardest parts for me is knowing when not to work versus when to work. Like, there's just so many days where I wake up, roll over, and then I work from 7 a.m. till 11 p.m. or 12 a.m. and then do the same thing over and over. And if I'm not cognizant of it, I'll just do that for weeks. And yeah, so I'm tired.
And that's basically been every day for like a year. It's very tiring. Yeah.
Let's see. Why did you choose to do the 2 tag team matches? Because I wanted to experiment. I thought that Roy versus Daisy and Chrom versus Peach would... those matches individually would feel somewhat similar, even though I guess the characters are pretty different. But originally that was Daisy versus Luigi or something like that. And I don't remember who Peach was fighting. But really, I thought it would be a way to do like 2 birds in 1 stone, and it's something that I don't think I've ever seen a series try to do. I don't know if it's like there's a good reason for that. There might be. But it'll be a fun experiment to figure out.
Let's get back to these questions.
Okay.
Was the Zone of Silence the only Archie Sonic win condition? Basically.
He just wasn't going to hurt Paper Mario.
Why was Paper Mario 14 miles an hour? Because he didn't have speed feats.
What about the lightning? Because I see that come up a lot.
So the lightning was slow, and also it moved way, 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 way further than Mario did. So you take the relationship of how far the lightning moved in a given time frame and how far Mario moved in that time frame, and that lets you figure out the speed. And it was not impressive.
Isn't lightning 1/3 the speed of light? I'm being an audience surrogate here.
Yes, on the return stroke. That's not what he dodged.
Anyway.
So could you go into a bit more detail about the outcome for Paper Mario versus Archie Sonic?
How old are these questions?
Today.
Oh.
It's just that people have been wanting to ask us for a while, and I deleted all their old questions and told them to resubmit anything that was important.
Thank you so much, Soulsy.
Yeah, thank you. So Archie Sonic versus Paper Mario. Basically, they were both too durable to hurt each other. Sonic was just ridiculously, absurdly fast. And Mario was not, but he had crazy versatility and could kill Sonic in like a dozen ways. So,
and like Sonic theoretically could use something like Zone of Silence right from like the very second it starts, but he doesn't fight like that. And I think that versus matchups get a lot less interesting when you stop having characters fight in character.
Everything about Archie Sonic's personality gets rid of all of his advantages in a fight. Like he just purposefully cripples himself to have more fun while fighting. So it doesn't bode well for blitzing people, which is really his
another
mistake.
question I saw on YouTube the other day is why did we use 3 different versions of Sonic rather than just using Archie Sonic? And I think they were latching onto the names that I gave the different areas.
They were all Archie Sonic.
That was for ease of comprehension, and for some people it worked, and for some people that it did not work.
I do want to mention, Nerdimus says that asking me about Lightning is like asking you about Kirby. I'm the one who hates Kirby, and I'm also the one who understands Lightning. So
The Kirby franchise, not Kirby himself.
I actually
Or maybe
love Kirby. I like the games too. I just hate having to analyze them
Okay.
for our methods.
Here's a secret to Kirby, is they intentionally make things inconsistent in terms of size, and there will never be a correct measurement of Kirby. People might pretend like there will be, but there won't be.
Which makes me sad.
Which makes me sad too. And so really, just pick a size you want Kirby to be, try to find a justification for it, measure things off of that size, figure out what you're going to do with the inconsistencies that don't make sense when they intentionally switch it up, and then defend it vehemently.
Yeah, you guys know my answer. If you're subscribed to the crew channel.
6 light year tall Kirby?
No, 14.
14 light year tall Kirby. But yeah, Kirby franchise and Versus is sad because they made him the anti-Versus character.
Do we have plans for another Dream Pick type thing? No specific plans, but we want to do it more.
Yeah.
In the future. There's definitely a while before that happens. We need to catch up on episodes.
Yeah.
What's your stance on using characters from a specific fan fiction? I don't like the idea. I guess I'm not totally closed off to it.
I'm open to it if that fan fiction is Critical Role. Does that count?
Is that fan fiction?
If you squint.
I don't think it is. Let's see. Are we planning to alternate the release schedule of Smash Bracket and Crossover Coliseum? Yes.
Alternate in terms of
Like Smash Bracket and then Crossover Coliseum and then Smash Bracket and then Crossover Coliseum.
Yeah, it's going to be more of an alternation for you guys on your end than it will be for us internally, I think.
That is planned for the release schedule eventually, but it's kind of rough to get everything to the finished state right now, so...
Oh, how is story mode coming along? It has started, actually. Like, there's stuff you can go pick up and decipher. Join the Discord if you want to do that. In terms of an animated story mode thing, animation is starting on the first one tomorrow. It's going to be like 30 seconds long. It's going to be a short one.
I think what we're probably going to do is do most of the story mode stuff through these little hidden messages that we've been doing and through very short shorts that we post.
Yeah.
This upcoming one.
But if you're looking for something to do, look at our community tab, because there's lots to unpack there, especially recently.
What made you choose Gon as Deku's Gon? I don't remember how to pronounce it. It's Deku's opponent. That's a a matchup for some guy, one of our researchers, just to thank him for all the help he's been doing.
So we didn't choose that. We didn't choose a vast majority of matches in Crossover Coliseum.
And then what's our response to people who find the matchup boring? I think that they have no imagination.
I always say I think boring people make boring matches.
I legitimately believe you could make any matchup interesting.
Which is part of why I'm not a huge proponent of connections, or at least they don't concern me a ton.
I also think you can find connections between any opponents.
Yep.
Like,
I think connections are what you make them.
Yeah. So I think that getting caught up in a match before you see the outcome, not just like who wins, but what's produced, I think that's a silly concern.
Yeah.
Why is Super SmackDown now called Crossover Coliseum? It's better for search engine optimization.
Yeah, if you look up Super SmackDown, it takes you to pro wrestling stuff. And I also like the name Crossover Coliseum better.
I do too. How's progress going for it? Good. I think we've got 3 animations in the work right now for it, right?
Yeah, they're all kind of in limbo states. So, with a bit of a spoiler, when Wario versus King Knight drops, it's not going to happen next time on Crossover Coliseum, because we don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah, we're working on it, and we've got a lot in progress.
I guess Uwe versus Iroh is also in progress.
Oh, yeah. That one I'm not counting because it's going to take so long.
Yeah, it's going to be worth the wait, though.
That one's just like a nice surprise for me every week when I see the work in progress and just get so happy about how it looks.
Yeah.
I wish I could show everyone everything we have for that, but I won't because it'll be worth the wait.
That's how I feel about everything we do.
Would you dropkick a small child walking down the street? No.
Well, what's the child doing?
Just any small child.
Well, I say no now, but no river so long it doesn't contain a bend.
Is it a
will I
zombie
ever?
child? Does that count? I might dropkick a zombie child.
Yeah. I don't know.
Will PS1 Hagrid be included in Pepsi Man's analysis due to his 6 or something Pepsi Man matchups in Amazing Matchups?
I do not know about that, but remind me and I will fit PS1 Hagrid in there in some capacity. It's not going to be a regular thing, because sometimes people message me and they're like, hey, put me in this episode. Like, I get...
Do you know who Hagrid is?
Yeah, I know who Hagrid is.
Just checking. You're not on the Discord much.
I know. The Discord is bad for my mental health.
Do you know that he's an admin now?
Yes, I know that. Come on.
Ink, it seems like you haven't been eating your daily Snickers bar. You know you're not yourself when you're hungry.
Oh, if you saw my scale, you might think otherwise. No, it's not Snickers, it's gummies. That's what gets me. Anyway.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how good is Mega Man Soccer?
10 to 10.
Sorry, 10 to 10. I suppose 10.
I haven't played it.
Well, what options do you have?
I don't know. 10?
Yeah, there you go. What's your favorite niche games? You say that is games you'd find in the best sellers section at Best Buy for $10. But if it's a bestseller, I don't think it's a niche game.
So here's a niche game I remember playing when I was young. I think it might have been the first platformer I ever played, but it was called Booger Man. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah.
It was gross.
So I guess I'll answer with that.
I looked it up recently, and it was still gross.
Makes sense.
My favorite niche games, I'm just thinking indie games. I love Binding of Isaac. That's a fantastic one. The Divinity games,
that one's so good.
I guess those probably aren't really indie anymore.
Yeah.
I love Path of Exile. Probably also not really indie, but definitely niche. But yeah, those are probably mine.
Let's see. Have you thought of any Shy Guy matchups yet? Nope.
Have we seen the Sonic 2 movie yet?
Nope. It's hard to see movies when you have kids.
Yeah.
My voice started breaking on that. It's hard to have kids.
Which Smash Bros. Character do you absolutely despise?
I don't despise any of them. I just like characters and games.
Yeah.
Wendy.
Sora, I think, is my least liked character. Sorry, Rob. He's just so annoying. But I like the music from his games.
Okay, so David says he knows that O's favorite Pringle flavor is original.
That is true.
Turns out that's it. Lemon had thought this through, and there's a reason for that.
Ink thought I was joking.
Oh, bring our kids to the movie.
Said like someone who isn't a parent.
Maybe at some age.
Yeah, not at 2.
Not at 2.
Let's see. Asking about the unlisted streams again. We talked about that. What's your opinion on Mount Wario? I don't know what that is. I think it's a joke in our Discord, from what
I don't think that's Mount Wario. I think that's saying Mount Wario.
No, it's capitalized, like Mount Wario.
I hardly know Wario. Carbonated Gem, I answer all of their questions because their art makes me happy. Random Pokemon you want to use in crossover Coliseum. I think Happy Knee versus Doom Guy would...
None of them.
Okay, I guess none of them.
I'm so done with Pokemon. We have had so many Pokemon. They're all the same.
Let's see. I'm making an episode for Green Biker Dude, you cowards. I don't know what that is. All right.
Least wanted death battle. I guess just 2 characters. I have no idea who they are, but I like those 2.
Least wanted death battle from ones I've heard talked about. I typically don't want death battle to do characters that I feel like don't lend themselves to matches that end in a death. I'm confident that they can handle basically anything well, given enough time, and I know there's so many logistics that go behind it. But for example, I don't think I'd want to see Uguay versus Iroh from them. I think that would make me sad.
I think both of them would be willing to kill
each other, though.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's the most likely thing, but I do think you could justify
Maybe
it.
Groove versus Megamind.
That one sounds fun.
That's because, I'm just saying that because I want to do it. Anyway.
Yeah, don't steal our matches. Oh, actually, I want them to do Vin versus Shang-Chi and then release high-quality models for free to the community.
Yes.
And then we could do that great. All right, what is your favorite franchise? Favorite
like
franchise?
Smash franchise?
Just in general.
Let's see.
Taco Bell? I don't think that's the type of franchise you meant.
I really like Zelda. I don't know. It's hard to answer because I don't play games as much anymore as I used to.
I think Persona for me.
That's what I was thinking about answering. I've been listening through the Witcher books though, and I really like them. So
Persona's like the only game that I can play huge amounts of time anymore. That and Elden Ring, which is maybe the best game ever.
So Levi wants to know if he can be on live stream. We can figure that out.
Yeah, we'll get you on a live stream sometime, Levi.
All right.
Thoughts on versus shows using feats from non-canon crossovers like Smash Bros. As part of the research for the characters.
Canon is an illusion.
As long as they're consistent, I don't care.
Yeah, like...
We use crossovers.
We were just talking about this with someone yesterday, is everyone has a different definition of canon and what kind of things you can use within a canonical representation of a character. Using Star Fox, for example, like the series has kind of rebooted itself 3 different times, so you could say, is anything before Star Fox Zero canon? And I really think it depends on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to use the character as they're represented by their ownership company in a battle, or are you trying to use one specific continuation of a story featuring that character? If you're concerned about a specific continuation of a story, then I think you can run into some real problems using crossovers or things that muddy that story up. But if you're just concerned about using official portrayals of the character, I think that's a lot less of an issue.
Yep.
Anyway.
Thoughts on Fawful versus Spamton as a matchup?
I know some of those words.
I don't know either character.
I think Fawful is from...
He's a Mario boss. I don't know Spamton at all.
So I guess not many thoughts. Will there be a VOD?
Yeah, we'll move it over to the crew channel.
Cool. What franchise is the most interesting to do research on?
Minecraft.
I've been really getting into Fire Emblem lore. I think that's a lot of fun.
I think that as much as I hate researching Kirby, his franchise has so many weird and fun things that it ends up being somewhat enjoyable. As long as I'm not stuck on things like calculating the size of Popstar.
Yeah. Anyway, last question. If you had to remove 10 characters from Smash, who would they be? Well, do I have a video for you? I think I've actually made that video.
Did you? I thought it was just an idea.
It sounds like something I've done.
I would remove almost all of the Fire Emblem characters, as much as I love that franchise. In fact, I think I would just start going and removing all of the Echo Fighters. And the Echo Fighters that they don't call Echo Fighters for some reason, like Roy.
Remember this video? I fixed the Super Smash Bros. Roster, and I love the roster I came up with, and everyone's like, this is a crap roster. And I released it one day before April Fool's, and I was like, oh, that's great timing. And I kind of just went with that. Yeah, here we go. Oh, it was kind of different. What if each series in Smash lost a fighter? That would kind of come out to...
There's a lot more 10.
Anyway. But yeah, I think that does it for the questions that you all submitted. Should we take a few minutes and go through questions from chat?
Yeah, I did see a comment on YouTube right as I was preparing for the stream I wanted to talk about, which was that they disagreed with the outcome of Link versus Ridley because there's no proof that Ridley could use Link's masks, which there are two things I would like to say. One is that didn't do anything in the animation. Like, it didn't end up making Ridley win because of that. And two is that we didn't factor that into the research whatsoever or debate.
Yeah, there's not great evidence one way or another with him using the masks. The real win condition was transmutation, and that was just a more climactic and fun way to represent that rather than Link clapping his hands and saying Shalakazi, and then all of a sudden Ridley's a slime bunny.
Right. Anyway.
Let's see.
What do you think of Mewtwo versus Ganon? That sounds fun.
Yeah, does sound fun. What do you think about Ace Attorney in Versus? I don't think that he's got much. I feel like rather than using him in Versus, other kind of fan fiction or short films would be a lot more interesting than a versus battle.
Yeah.
What do we do if one more character gets added to Smash? I assume you mean Smash Ultimate? I'd probably cry a little bit, actually.
I don't think they will be.
No. I don't think they will be. But yeah, we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. All right.
Do you have
any last questions?
Do you have a plan for what you want to tell your kids when they ask about what you do online?
I mean, it's just work.
Tell them.
Yeah.
Not trying to hide it.
Let's see. So yeah, any last minute questions before we wrap up?
Is there a game that you found doing research that's now one of your favorite? Oh, you know what, Rob? I did read that question in the research document, and then I think I got distracted by something else and skipped over it. Sorry about that. I think Starlink was one for you, right?
Starlink's not one of my favorite games, but I really, really enjoy it.
Shovel Knight, I've always heard that one was good, but I never actually had an excuse to play it until we were doing that match.
I'm trying to think of what games I've played recently.
So that was a big one.
I've really enjoyed going through Xenoblade. Oh, Persona 5 Strikers, 100%. That's the one. That's the one that takes it for me.
That's a great game. It's not a game, but honestly, some of those Minecraft novels became some of my favorite books. Like the Enderman one in particular was so good. And I never would have touched those otherwise.
And Alex is British, apparently.
Yep. Not in that book. Not in that one.
Which, if you go to our music video for that, originally, Alex didn't sound as British, and then he told me to make her sound British, so I had her say, "Are you mad?" instead of "Are you crazy?" and that's British.
If we do Cuphead, he'll probably be from both the game and the show.
Oh, yeah. So, here's the thing, is I don't have, like, if you come to characters like Marth, who in some endings he uses the Dark Sphere, but in other endings he doesn't, or if you look at Fire Emblem Fates, which has 3 different versions of the game, I've seen a lot of people just say that whatever ending is like the happiest ending or bodes best for the characters is the canonical ending. I don't think that that's... unless they state otherwise, an accurate way to view it. I don't have an issue with there being multiple canons or multiple possibilities for something to go to. React to what Sky just sent on Discord. Oh, I think I saw what they sent. I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm anxiously awaiting it. We are redoing our channel trailer, and I have a very cool idea for it that I don't want to spoil.
Oh, okay. So we shouldn't play it.
No, not yet.
All right.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think that generally we're fine compositing all the endings, which is going to be fun when we do Dan versus Glass Joe. Dan Hibiki. Do you know, have you seen that feed that some guy posts whenever he's brought up? There's one ending in one of the games where I think Dan dies or something and ends up training God and Satan, like, in combat.
Huh.
So, arguments that he scales above them.
Well, there you go. Well, anyway, I think that about does it for this stream. I'm kind of losing energy, and I want to go edit.
Yeah.
And I want to listen to that track.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. All right, well, thank you all for stopping in, and thank you, Crystal Amick, for the revamped stream layout.
Yeah.
We also got new emotes that I think are uploaded on here. And
oh, really? If you're a YouTube member, try sending it.
I think I'm planning to get those onto the Discord channel as well. I meant to mention that at the start,
Let me see.
but I am absent-minded.
Ha, just sent it.
Nice.
All right, cool.
All right, well, thank you. We are going to try to do these every Friday around the same time. So
Yeah, so fingers crossed it'll work out, and we'll see you all next time.
later.